Hey, it's Paul again. So right now we've talked about the last one episode we talked about was about love and how we get through it, and why a lot of us probably never get married because we have this issue. Um, it is rough because to love an Aspie takes a lot more effort than anyone else. It takes an extraordinary woman. And like I said, Jay was extraordinary, but again, there was mitigating circumstances that prevented that. So it is what it is. So that's one of those things where I wanted to explain it and kind of delve into it because, like I said, not many people do. Going back into the article I found, Aspie do love. They just love in a different way, and it's true. We do. We just love in kind of like a. Oh, there we go. Go up to where I'm looking for here. Just all. Here it is. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. Most individuals are hardwired to achieve a mutual satisfying solution because they can step into another's shoes. We can't. Aspies are not. They can't read their partner's signals. They have a mind blindness. Therein lies the rub. Aspies don't comprehend the meaning of traditional gestures of love and romance. They don't set out to hurt their love by withholding affectionate words and actions. That's our problem. We can't. We don't have that. And I've had many people ask me, like, so what if it was you did that in that situation? And I could honestly tell them, I can't. My father used to do that all the time. How would you feel if this happened to you? Honestly, I don't know. I'd have to be in that situation. And it's not a cop-out. It is really, we don't have that. So moving on from that, now I've explained love in almost one whole episode and a little bit of this one, so I'm going to move on from there. This might be the last episode depending on how if I've covered everything going on. So I touched a couple episodes ago about the emotional problem and not hating. So going into that, and I said I was bullied in high school. Well, I wasn't bullied in high school. Now, the high school I went to was a very open high school. Not open, but they really accepted me, and it was awesome. They really I went to a very small high school. And most high schools nowadays are like thousands. My high school is about 500 kids. So, but it was still, with my social awkwardness and me being homeschooled for almost 8 years, it was like being dropped into Russia without a pocket translator. It was massive. And I was very quiet. I met I had my high school sweetheart. Again, there was another problem with social interaction with that. But yeah, I was lucky to have that. But it wasn't the high school, it was the technical school. Now, I was in an AP program to learn how to get my degree in automotive. And those guys, now it's high school, so these kids are immature, and I was very mature for my age. And they would bully me. They really would. It got to the point where it was getting very dangerous. They would lock me in a room. They would write stuff on my locker. Just terrible things. Just terrible things. Now, 15 years later, do I hate them? No, they were young. They were stupid. They were just them. And I got bullied. Another good example, even farther back. Little League. I was kind of bullied in Little League, sometimes even by my own teammates. I dealt with it. I didn't really talk about it. I was bullied in elementary school. This kid named Ricky. He would just terrorize me. And again, I was very quiet. But comes into maturity. And I will give you a very good example which really happened. So the way our school was, it was a Christian school, private school. And we had basically cubicles, office cubicles. And they went around the wall. So we're all sitting so I'm sitting facing the wall. We got a cubicle with It would look like an office cubicle. We're facing the wall. And my teacher pulled me, tapped me on the shoulder and said I had detention. I said, for what? And she said, well, because you kicked Ricky. I'm like, I'm sitting by a wall, in front of a wall. Ricky, no, I didn't. So, of course, now I've got to explain to my father why I had detention, and I wasn't doing that. I was about 6 or 7. But anyway, so after school, of course, now I got to go see the teacher, and I'm like, crap. So I said, Miss Haskell, I never kicked him. Oh, yeah. And Ricky's like, oh, yeah, I did. And I looked at him, and I looked at her and said, roll up his pant leg. I want to see the bruise. Because if I had kicked him, I would have kicked him. Broken his little shin bone. But again, I'm not violent. So he got detention, and I did because he would not roll up his pant leg. And when he did, there was no bruise. There was not even a mark. Very analytical. So I would always fight the bullying with intellect. So, yeah, people think bullying is gone after high school. No. Very, very good example. I do historical reenactments, World War II. And there's this one guy who his name is L. So L is a pain in the butt. He really is. And he would do stupid stuff. Not violent, but stupid. And we were at an event, and I was the ally or the U.S. In charge. I was the head honcho. And he basically sabotaged me. And he gave me a very bad migraine that I almost went in the hospital because I was popping Excedrin like aspirin candy, and I shouldn't have. And I left the event, and I got to eat the urgent care, and I went home. And the next day, I wrote a very nice post on Facebook explaining what happened. And he went on and he said that I should not be doing this because I'm autistic, deaf, and blind in one eye. I mean, just terrible. And some people called me a hypochondriac. And I'm like, dude, if I was a hypochondriac, I wouldn't be out doing this. And I got featured in something, and just terrible, terrible bullying. But I never got mad. So the question is that the things that he's done, do I hate him? No. Straight up. I tried to explain it to my father. My father said, so what happens if someone punches you in the face? And I told him, I said, yeah, if you punch me in the face tomorrow, I'll probably buy you coffee, but I'm going to stay laying up on the back. It's this self-preservation where I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. He's a nice, when he's not doing stupid stuff, he's still interesting, but I don't dislike him. I just know better than to get that close again, if that makes sense. I've been bullied in a lot of things because I was labeled as different. Does it suck? Yeah, it does. And going into this now, this is where I'm going to get very controversial. And it's a harder thing now. Growing up back in the 80s and 90s, bullying, it was, you were bullied. But it kind of gave you some character. It really did. It gave you the character to either, stand up for yourself or do it. And I stood up for myself right before I graduated. And I was left alone. It's when we're coddled, it becomes an issue. And like I said, I'm not an advocate for bullying. I think bullying is wrong and it shouldn't be. And we'll just leave it at that. But I was bullied, and I will freely admit it. And yeah, for an Aspie, it's hard to do. It's hard to deal with. So going from that, thinking about it, it's hard. It was a lot of people just didn't get me and thought I was weird because I showed no emotion. And at work, I was bullied. I used to work at a dealership, Jeep dealer, and they would do stupid stuff. Really, really good example is, which I will explain in the next episode because I have gone to my 10 minutes. So if you want to know the rest of this story, come up to the next one. So Until next time, I'll see you later, and keep tuning in.